Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're going to uncover the secrets of something we experience every single second of our lives, but never actually see: the air all around us.
Okay, so let's just dive right in with a question that sounds super simple, but the answer is pretty fascinating. Why can't we see this stuff that literally keeps us alive?
Now, what's so cool about this is it totally flips the question on its head. See, it's not really about the air, it's about us. Our eyes are just tuned to see a very specific, very narrow slice of light that happens to travel through air and water really, really well. Right, so for you to see anything, light has to hit it and then bounce back into your eyes. But the molecules that make up air, they're so far apart that light just zips right through all the gaps. It's kind of like trying to catch rain in a fishing net with giant holes. The light just doesn't hit anything to bounce off of. So if air is a real physical thing, then what's it actually made of? Let's take a look at the recipe. And this is where things get really surprising. The air we breathe is mostly not the oxygen we need, not even close. A whopping 78% of it is nitrogen. Oxygen, the gas we absolutely need to live, only makes up about 21%. And that tiny little 1% sliver? That's a mix of other stuff like argon and carbon dioxide. You know, it's a super common mix-up, but this really clarifies it. Oxygen is just one single ingredient. Air is the whole cocktail that delivers that ingredient to us. Thinking air is oxygen is kind of like thinking a fruit salad is just a strawberry. I mean, the strawberry is important for sure, but it's part of a much bigger mix. Okay, so how does this very specific mixture of gases work together to support a whole planet full of living things? It's pretty amazing, actually. And that's a great question, right? Because if you think about it, we should have used it all up by now. I mean, every animal, every one of us is constantly taking in oxygen with every breath. So who's refilling the tank? Well, the answer, of course, is this incredible process. Photosynthesis is basically nature's ultimate recycling program. Plants breathe in the carbon dioxide that we breathe out, and then they use energy from the sun to turn it into food, releasing the oxygen we need as a byproduct. It's genius. And this creates this beautiful, self-sustaining loop. Animals can't live without the oxygen that plants make, and plants need the carbon dioxide that animals make. It's the perfect partnership, a planet-sized gas exchange happening all around us, all the time. Okay, that makes sense for us here on land, but what about fish? How do they and all the other creatures underwater get the oxygen they need when they're surrounded by water, not air? They don't breathe air, but they definitely still breathe oxygen. They have this incredibly efficient system that pulls oxygen that's been dissolved in the water. Their gills act like these amazing little filters, just grabbing those oxygen molecules right out of the water that flows past them. So we've talked a lot about that crucial 21% of oxygen, but what about the big guy, the main component of our air? What's all that nitrogen doing? That's right, 78%, the vast majority of our atmosphere. And it turns out this gas is essential for all living things. It's a fundamental building block for proteins and DNA. You know, the stuff that builds our bodies and carries our genetic code. Pretty important. But here's the puzzle. The air is packed with nitrogen. But for us, and for plants, it's totally unusable in that form. The two nitrogen atoms in the gas are locked together by this super strong bond that needs to be broken. And that's where one of nature's most vital cycles comes into play, powered by some of the smallest organisms on Earth. This whole diagram shows the process. Nitrogen gets pulled from the air in a process called fixation. Then it gets converted into forms that plants can actually absorb through their roots. And who are the key players in this whole operation? Tiny little microbes. What's so incredible about this is the whole system relies on different types of bacteria. And each one has a very specific job to do. Some of them fix the nitrogen. Others convert it into nitrates that plants love. Then decomposers recycle it from dead stuff. And finally, another group sends it back to the atmosphere, completing a cycle that underpins pretty much all life. Okay, so from these tiny microscopic cycles, let's zoom out one last time and see how all of these gases work together to form the very blanket that protects our entire world. This envelope of air we call the atmosphere is so much more than just a big tank of gas. It's not just one uniform thing. It's actually a series of layers, and each one has a totally distinct and vital role in making our planet livable. You can see here how our atmosphere is like this multi-layered shield.
Down here in the troposphere, that's where we live, and that's where all our weather happens. Go up a level, you hit the stratosphere, which has the ozone layer, our planet's natural sunscreen. Higher still is the mesosphere, which acts like a cosmic shooting gallery, burning up most meteors. And way, way up in the thermosphere, that's where the beautiful auroras happen. Each layer does something critical.
So, if there's one thing to take away from all this, it's how this system we can't even see is responsible for the entire world as we know it. It's this complex dance of physics and chemistry and biology, all happening invisibly, all the time, just to keep our planet alive and thriving. And that really is the final thought, isn't it? We've seen just how this invisible, delicate system keeps everything on Earth alive. So the real question becomes, what's our role in making sure it stays that way?